Hello, welcome again to the Noonas Reacts, which is really looking to be like the American line of the certified Noonas Reacts. Today we're reacting to one of my favorite groups, DAY6. They are coming out with their new song, Zombie. If you didn't see our reaction last time, we reacted Sky's favorite, Astro. And if you weren't here for that, these reactions are a little bit different than most people's reactions because we're just chill about it. Like, these aren't like supposed to be high tech, obviously. We're just reacting to our favorite groups because this is a month where a lot of our favorite groups are coming out with music, and we had time and we figured it would be a fun thing to do, while we're all stuck at home.
So it's also super early in the morning. So
yes, this
when
is
we
like
say it's laid back, we stayed up all night.
Yeah, we did an all-nighter for this. It is very early in the morning. Nobody's up. It's still pitch black outside. Like, we are here for the first views of this music video. I'm super excited about it. I'm also kind of it's emotional, especially now. I don't want to get into all the stuff that why it's emotional. Just, you could look it up. But I'm really excited to watch this music video because I've seen so far the teasers, like the first teaser for the music video, and then the album sampler, and I did watch the making of. I kind of know the concept of what the lyrics are, but I don't know for a fact. This is a very heavy DAY6 comeback emotionally, but then again, all of DAY6 is like that, so it's kind of
Yeah.
A
well, I mean,
twist and turn.
if you compare it to Shoot Me, totally it's rather different.
Yeah.
Like that.
I guess if you don't follow DAY6's B-sides, they're very emotional. DAY6 isn't a group that has their music videos tied together, really. There are some that kind of tie together, but it's really for just special projects, or the actors are in multiple ones. But this one, they did kind of do some fun things because it is this album's the third in their book of series.
Oh.
The basic premise of this whole thing is because it's the book of demon, and it has this little demon character. And if you watched Sweet Chaos, which was their last comeback, that little demon's in the end credits screen at the end of that music video, and nobody figured it out. Only people figured it out after they brought out the little teaser with the little demon on their album. So this is the last album, and it had this kind of clock theme. You can kind of tell if you go to the last page that has it. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. Oh, it might actually. Okay, I don't know if you can see it right here. There's this shadowy line. I'll take a picture, but there's literally a line right here with the arrow, and that's the tail of the demon.
It's really faint.
Album.
Even on the pictures. Pretty subtle stuff. It's not these things are all connected. I mean, they are all connected, but it's not
the
music videos aren't obviously so similar or anything like that.
No, and they're not say Dreamcatcher, where you have to watch to the story. They're kind of more, I mean, DAY6 really does kind of warp their catalogs in terms of emotions of the human. So there is connection, but it's just a basic human connection, human stages of grief or emotions and that sort of thing. So
it's more I feel they do more themes with the albums, throughout the song of the album, themes and tones within the album too.
I do have a light stick. It's right there, but I'm not going to take it out. It's not really a light stick. It's a band, but I won't be like you last time with your light stick.
Was I obnoxious? I don't even know.
No, I just don't want to take it out. Take it out, and then it's not a light stick. It's like a wristband, yay! Enough talking, because I really want to watch this music video. I really love Dawn's clear drum set.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I think everyone has new instruments in this one. Maybe. I kind of figured this was going to be a softer song because of the teaser. I'm sorry, I don't really have much to say right now. I really like their suits in this.
Ooh. That guitar.
Mm-hmm. I love Sungjan's voice so much. I just wish he could sing all the time and be fine.
Yeah. I love the lights.
Mm-hmm. We get water in this one too.
That connects them.
The water looks really cool with Dawn's drum set because it was reflecting in it. I wish it had been harder, but I like it. Like, it's a good song. Like, it's just really light. I kind of expected, like a normal build-up, like a DAY6 song would be.
Right. I find it interesting when groups, they have a harder, not that it was like this really edgy aesthetic conceptually going in, but when there is a slightly harder clothing concept, darker colors, and you kind of, with like, my goodness, there's a fuzzy on my hand. Like kind of that little uniform thing a little bit. And so
yeah,
that brings you to certain thoughts of like the type of music you're going to get. Not that's like, it has to be this. It doesn't have to be that.
Totally.
But there was another band that did similar, but like they had a very, very hard conceptual look. And then the song was so soft, it was a lovely song. Mm-hmm. But I was like, how did you put these two things together? Because like I had a certain expectation just based, because like aesthetic, like more makeup, more jewelry, just all this
they're like
stuff.
Super heavy.
Like they're going for the rocker look, and then like the song was like super soft and soothing, which lovely song. But I was like, oh, this doesn't make much sense, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And this wasn't that discordant at all.
No.
But like,
no.
But the concepts, when you didn't know what the song would sound like, it was like, oh, I think it's going to be a little, and the typical, DAY6 build up.
But I do think that it highlights Dawn's drums, like his beat, really well. So in that respect, I really like the song. And it does have like kind of like the catchier zombie, chorus, like that I already know. I might have to watch it again. Should we watch it again?
Yeah, we can.
Especially because I've probably missed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely the first, especially when it's a fave and you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to like get it all in.
It's harder when you're like being filmed too.
Yeah, because it's like, what am I gonna say?
Yeah. I'm just like, I just want to like sit here and just like listen to it and not say anything.
When you're used to having music and stuff wash over you, it's like, oh, I have to like comment.
Are you ready for it again?
Yep. I think that actor guy is really good.
He is. Yeah, they always get really good actors for their stuff.
Wonder if he'll be the next
He might be
in movies.
Yeah, JYP doesn't have an acting division anymore, and like that's usually where they pulled him from. But who knows? He doesn't look familiar.
Well, maybe he just reminds me of somebody.
You could have seen him in something though. You know what? It does work really well, like this tone and like kind of quietness of it being zombie, you know, kind of like, you know, zombies that are very slow and almost kind of quiet-esque in terms of like monsters.
And the way they also don't do a lot of expression on their faces.
Yeah.
Like very purposefully.
This song really like gets to you after a while. You're like, yeah, I'll have this beat on repeat in my head for a while. I really like this guitar part.
I like the time lapse.
Yeah.
That they did. The way they didn't have the drum, they had the drums at the very beginning of the song and it worked up the song, and then the way they didn't have the drums at all at the end of the song was moving, like the way they did that.
Yeah, and I also like that it was like a constant beat, kind of like it was like a metronome, but like a clock almost, like kind of like the beats of like the clock that go by, like especially like with the whole kind of concept of the entire thing, you know, kind of like things are going by and it's the same exact thing over and over, and you know, you're kind of just repeating your same steps over and over.
So like the tie-in to the name of the album and the whole concept of the album is interesting to me, because it's not like the zombie song has much to do with like love or any of those things that they were kind of talking about with the demon thing.
Yeah, because it's very more personal. Like it's like more personal about like your life and like feeling like you're lost and just doing the same thing over and over, and nothing is going to change. You're going to wake up the next day.
Yeah, it wasn't like about
way.
It wasn't about relationships.
No, it was kind of just about like personally.
When they did the concept film for the demon, the little demon guy, like it seemed to be more of a, you know, kind of a relationship-y thing.
I'm sure it comes with some of the other songs. I'll have to listen to the other songs. I do know that Young K and Wanpil did the lyrics for this. And Jay composed it. And there is an English version of this as well on the CD. And I don't know, it might be changed, like the lyrics might have been changed from the like translated lyrics that they have on the screen, because sometimes they do that. It's definitely growing on me. Like, but like, I never hear the "I become a zombie."
Yeah,
it's stuck in your head, in your brain.
And it's not that I dislike the song, but because when you're used to Day6, it's like you do feel like there was one other layer of build that they could have done, but it makes sense with the song to not
it makes
do
sense with the like lyrics and the song, and just because like I want it doesn't mean that it like should be doing it.
Right.
You know, if you go from their last release, if you don't connect, you don't count Finale, you've got Sweet Chaos, which was a lot more heavier. Like, so it really, like, in the tie-in, it kind of goes from that to this really fast, which is a jump, but it's also, like, how emotions are. You can be, like, super high, which this is probably what they're doing, because, like, Sweet Chaos is about, you know, like, the chaos of love and just, like, reveling in it and stuff, and then just kind of, like, dipping down because your emotions are, you know, up and down, and, you know, one day you could be super high and the next day super low. It's a good song though. Day6 can't.
I enjoy it.
Like Day6, like if like I have a song that like I would consider my like least favorite Day6 song, it would still be like better than most songs that like I listen to. And you know, like
it would still be a favorite song.
It's like Day6 can't do bad songs. It just might not be the song that I like memorize the words to like right off the bat.
Or if you, like you kind of said, if you're in a certain mood or a moment in life, sometimes certain songs are kind of what you know, certain tempos or certain whatevers are kind of what you tend towards in that moment of life.
Yeah,
but then others you tend towards another.
Just because I want it, like I want screamo like metal, which would have been fantastic though if Day6 had done that for me. Just like went nuts. It doesn't matter what I want right now, like, you know. Right. But I think they did a good song.
Definitely emo 6.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure the rest of the album's also just like this, where it's just very emo. They definitely went that route.
They do it very well. They did a really good job.
They do it. I'm just glad they were able to get this out, though. You know.
And not to get way into that, but the first things I read, I think I read too quickly at the very end of whatever announcement. And I thought that it did affect the release of the album, is what I initially thought. And so then later on, when it's like, oh, good.
Like, nobody knew what was going on. Like, they were just not, like, promoting really well. Like, and they weren't putting out stuff. And so people were like, what's going on? And the biggest thing was that they had M-Wave signed albums. And then, like, within a day, M-Wave stopped all the sales. And then, like, no, everybody was like, what's going on? You couldn't have, like, sold out all the stuff. And then
that's a scary thing, legitimately.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, it really was, like, it was hard when you don't know what's going on. They hadn't put out even, like, a teaser, like, picture for, like, one of the schedule of things were going on, just, like, for, you know, the picture releases. M-Wave actually got back to people, were like, JYP told us to stop it. And that's what everybody's like, what's up? And then they finally released that announcement. It was a little bit, like, weird because I think it was also, like, because they announced that and M-Wave was like, we have to cancel all the signed albums because they can't do that part anymore, which is, like, totally
understandable.
Like, yeah, understandable. But yeah, really DAY6 has been, like, their music really helps when I'm not doing well. So when you find out that the group that's, like, essentially helping you do well is suffering from what I suffer and would never wish on anyone, it gets really hard. You know, you're like really sad about it because you're like, I would never want this on someone else. And it to be like someone, not I know, but, like, you know, someone that, like, I have a tie-in in some way, especially kind of, like, with the knowledge of, like, you know, everybody was wondering what was going on. Was JYP messing up stuff? Like, what was happening, not knowing, and then finding out, and then kind of almost feeling bad because you almost question things, you know, and you just thought it was like a
management issue.
Yeah.
I didn't know the M-Wave thing. Just because the way K-pop groups can go, that can be startling because things can happen very quickly and you just not know about it. Like, stuff can happen. It's good that the agency allowed the rest because that's very important that the agency allowed that. I hope that in the future, as time goes on and agencies continue to try to be more careful, I hope that they allow for periods of rest without it getting to a bad point to need it. Like, building it in a little bit better. Because, like, come to find out for Astro, like, we didn't know this last comeback for Astro. The reason Moonbin didn't participate was for mental health reasons as well. Whereas we all thought it was a physical, like, injury because they didn't tell us until way later, and it's a very personal thing. But it was obvious he needed a rest, and it's like, how about we actually build that in before, you know? So it's
tough. That sort of stuff, like, it just, like, builds and builds, and, like, some days you can work through it, some days you can't, but, like, it still builds. And so it gets to a point where it's bad.
You know, you think work can help.
Yeah,
yeah.
Work harder. Like, you work harder, or, like, you know, like, okay, like, this is, like, the only thing that's getting me by or whatever. Like, I'm not saying that because I'm not going to put words into their mouths, but, like,
right.
I would assume, like, for me, like, if I was composing, like, music, that would be something that I loved, but it's also your work. You're put in this position where it's, like, your work's affecting you, but it's, like, also you're kind of like
it's your outlet, but it's also your work. So.
Yeah, and you like feel a sense of, like, disappointment to others almost. It's, like, a really hard balance, and especially if you don't, like, manage it, like, first. I feel like companies now are more willing to allow these things to happen than they would have a couple of years ago, or, like, you know, 10 years ago or whatever. Like, it just wouldn't have been a thing for even, like, JYP to be like, no, I'm like, you just got to go through it, you know? Like, and so it's like there's hope because you've seen that, like, companies are allowing for this rest time, that, like, just in the future it'll become better. And so it's not just, like, so abrupt. It's, like, kind of more like stopping it before it becomes a bigger thing.
Right. Yeah. It gives hope for the future even to become a little bit better with that type of thing, because it's just as important, if not more important, than physical injuries and stuff. Because of course physical injuries, they're like, well, can't do anything about it, blah blah blah, and so then they'll have to stop something. But it's nice to see that people, because it is important, especially, I mean, I don't know near as intimately as you do the track record of JYP specifically with stuff, but like you've said, even a few years back, JYP wouldn't, like, it's not like they've been flawless always with this stuff.
Oh no, but like nobody has too, so it's like not a thing of like pointing blame, like especially with this sort of thing. It's more of, okay, now we just move forward and do something about it, and like, because it's not gonna help anybody or anything to kind of look at the past and point blame.
I was just saying, I'm glad it's progressed to good things.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like obviously progressing in other companies too, with you know, like Antonio with Astro.
And Waiki Mikey too. So like they had a member that went through a time as well, and they allowed her quite a long time off, and it was absolutely necessary for her to do that.
And those kids they're doing stuff that's not a good place to be mentally, like, like fame itself is not good, but then when you have like other things that are constantly adding to it, that just like it's a thing that happens because you're famous, like you have people stalking you, or you have people like writing hate comments about you and that sort of thing. It just, no matter who you are, like even if you say you're like, no, it's fine, that builds too, and that could like affect someone even if they are maybe not predisposition to have had like issues with mental health.
Astro, during their hiatus time, and when they had a concert, and then they ended up having, during their statement time, it was very, very emotional, and they kind of spoke a little bit about their stuff, and they admitted, they're like, we didn't even tell our parents, they didn't tell anybody how rough it was on them, because they didn't want their parents to worry. And it's like, that's understandable, but at the same time, it's like, knowing that they're not talking to anyone about things is like, that's pretty heartbreaking to know that. It's like, no, if you guys need help, like, reach out, please. Like, that's
definitely.
So it's good that when people get a period of rest, at least they told somebody to. Like, that's good too. We talked about a lot of serious things.
I know. This got like very serious. I mean, it's good.
Given all that circumstance, when you do watch the music video, like, it has an impact emotionally on that.
Yeah,
it really
definitely.
Because if that had not happened, if you didn't know of that, if someone simply walked into the music video without that knowledge, it would be a completely different experience in my opinion.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because I would be just bopping around like...
Yeah, you'd be like,
life is kind of crappy and monotonous sometimes.
You're like, yeah,
sweet.
True.
Yeah, like, true that, man, and then like move on. But when there's the circumstance, it's like, oh, this is like, it feels so heavy because of that. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy the song, because it's a good song.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a good album. I don't even have to listen to the album to know it's a good album.
I'm excited to listen to the album like 14,000 times. And I'll like keep on listening to this and watching the music video, and then just listening to DAY6 in general, because I really like them.
Mm-hmm. They deserve all the good things. Wonpil especially, because he brings so much joy.
Oh my gosh.
If you put him and In-Flying Jaehyun like in a room.
Oh my god. It'd just be like sunshine and rainbows. Like it'd be too much.
It'd be blinding. Go into that room. Like,
yeah.
And they'll just smile at you, and you'll be like, oh, I'm thankful. Okay. I'm just better now.
That would be a great room. Although it would be blinding. Like, it would be like a little too much. You'd be like, whoa, this is like a lot.
I don't know if you could handle it. Just probably pass out. Be good.
Probably.
So, we are a podcast, actually.
Yeah. This is why we're talking so much, because we're actually a podcast. We don't usually do these video things.
Yeah, we're not used to being on video. I mean, we video chat, but anyway. Podcast. So, we are on iTunes, Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean. We're on our website, certifiednoonas.com. That has a lot of stuff on it. We do some extra content like this when we feel like it, especially during quarantine, because we do what we want with our favorite stuff. That's our thing. So,
we're grown and we do what we want.
Talk about Asian entertainment, we talk about music, we talk about dramas, but mostly we talk about what we like within those things. So it's like,
you got to do what makes you happy.
Yeah, and as a whole, we try to keep things pretty fun and positive. It's late early, so I get to talk a little bit differently than usual. But
we're zombies right now, literally.
Yeah, zombies. We're like that.
We're on theme.
I even went with the pale look, like absolutely no makeup because it's like it was 4:00 in the morning. So it's purposeful. I very purposefully did something on. What else? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
If we do more of these, it'll be our favorites. That's what we do.
Yeah, and then you'll probably won't hear from us, or at least see from us for a very long time. But we always have a podcast up on Mondays, so if you're into that, you should definitely check us out.
And we're on Twitter a lot, and Instagram, and if you're a Facebook type person, we're there too. I mean, we're pretty much everywhere. Yeah. But we're most active on Twitter and Instagram. That's where we talk more. Listen to music that you like.
Yeah. And maybe go watch DAY6's music video a couple times and give it a like for me, please.
Yeah. The boys deserve it.
Yeah.
And it's good. And yeah, even if you don't know the circumstance, it's a good music video.